Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining Dance with Life Academy today. A place where we talk about dance content, primarily hip-hop or urban, or what was once known as urban. But for the sake of continuity, I'm gonna be calling it choreography. So if you hear me say choreography, just know that I mean urban or LA style. But in this channel, I share some tips and advice based off of my own personal experiences. And no, I'm not your all-star professional dancer by any means. I'm just a local dancer here bringing you some local advice from my local community. But with that being said, today's topic is going to be five things that you need to understand before you think about joining a dance team. So let's begin and roll that intro. So you're thinking about joining your local community dance team, whether they are a part of a school, a part of a college, or part of a studio, or maybe they're just renting from a studio. These are 5 things that you have to understand before you consider joining a team. And number 1 is going to be ready for a change. Because being truthfully here, joining a dance team is not just going to be a change in what you do every week, it's going to be a lifestyle change. And the biggest factor in that lifestyle change is that you're going to be meeting a lot new people. Maybe you're going to be meeting an old friend that you haven't seen in a while, or maybe you're joining a team with a friend. But odds are you're going to be joining a team with people that you have never met before. But not only that, you're going to be facing a lot of challenges along the way. And the biggest thing that you can get out of that is self-growth. You're going to be introduced to an entirely different atmosphere, an entirely different environment, an entirely different culture. And sometimes you may not like that sudden change, but you're gonna have to get used to it. And all of this is going to translate over to the next one, which means that number 2 is going to be start being responsible for practice. What you joined wasn't just a hobby. What you joined wasn't just meeting new people and making new friends. What you joined wasn't just a group. What you joined was a commitment. And it's a commitment not just to yourself, but to the team as a brand and to the people of the team. If you can't make that commitment, honestly, you should really reconsider joining a team. A dancer who isn't able to commit to the practices is tenfold worse than anyone that can't dance. Most teams are gonna have a really strict attendance policy, and if you can't keep up with that attendance policy, odds are you might be gone. And I can't really tell you or give you any sort of attendance example because it's gonna vary from team to team. Some teams say if you miss 4 practices, you're out. For other teams, it's gonna be completely subjective and case to case. So if you know that you have practice on Saturday morning and you usually like to go out on Friday nights, well guess what? Say goodbye to the Friday night life. Again, you're joining a commitment. You have dance Saturday morning, but you still wanna go out and party Friday night and get drunk, then that dance team probably isn't for you. Now, for number 3, and if I'm being honest, this is probably the biggest pet peeve that I have. I'll be back. Mute you and close you up. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, this one is probably the biggest pet peeve that I've ever had as a director of dance. And that is that sometimes, for some reason, people don't understand that your actions now affect others. When you're absent, when you can't fulfill your duty as a member of a dance team and show up to practice, your absence doesn't just affect you. It affects everyone around you. It affects the team managers, the directors, the dancers, and it affects the practices themselves. You're absent one day, you're absent 2 days, you missed formations, you missed the choreography, and now you come back, you have to all of a sudden relearn everything, which by the way, a lot of teams won't slow down practice or rewind practice just for you. You're gonna have to learn outside of practice. Means that you're gonna have to schedule with a teammate, or schedule with a choreographer, or schedule with someone who knows what you missed and is willing to teach you. And as the director or choreographer of a team, they have no choice but to take time out of their own time to teach you because you missed practice. And yes, we do understand that shit happens. Life happens. We get it. Maybe you got sick. Maybe a close relative or friend passed away. Whatever the reason is, 6 weeks of missed practice is still 6 weeks of missed practice. I've only ever kicked out a couple dancers in the past. One of them missed 4 practices in a row without letting anyone know or having a conversation with me or my other directors about it. After the 4th absences, had to pull her aside and say, hey, you know, it's just not working out. And then the dancer goes on a tirade about how it's not fair and how I should reconsider, or how I don't understand how hard things are for that person, and that person missing practice for the reasons that they gave me is a perfectly valid excuse to miss practice. And you know what? That dancer was right. However, as a director of dance, I have an obligation to protect the other 15 members of my dance team that was affected by that absence. And this is a piece of advice for those of you who are going through stuff and still decide to join a team. It's okay to work on yourself first. Still wanting to be part of a team and full well knowing that you can be gone, absent for whatever reason at any given week, over and over and over again, but still defending yourself, that's selfish. You're holding back 15 other dancers because you have the wrong priorities. It's okay to not dance for a year. Come back next year. The dance team isn't going anywhere. As a dance director, there are times where I do have to protect someone from themselves. Yeah, some people do want to use dance as an escape, but when that escape turns into affecting everyone else who does come to practice, who does dedicate their time, it's not fair to them. When you join a dance team, you're not here for yourself. You're here for the team. And when your personal actions are hurting the team, it's time to move on. Number 4 is to be open-minded to learn. Remember that you joined the team. The team did not join you, because that would be weird if it did. You have an opportunity to learn from other dancers around you, other choreographers, other managers, team directors. When you're joining someone else's team, you have to respect what they're learning and at least be willing to soak in the information, whether you agree with it or not. Not everyone is going to agree with you, and that's okay. That's how dance evolves. Also, as a dancer, you do little compared to what your choreographers, managers, and directors do. You wake up, come to practice for a few hours or so, practice is over, you leave, maybe you go to some workshops in the community somewhere, but your directors, choreographers, managers, they're meeting every week. Your choreographers are working an extra 4, 5, 6, 12 hours just to get practice ready. Your directors are planning for not just the next practice, but the practice after that, the month after that, the few months after that. If you need money, how to get money. If you gotta do a fundraiser, how to do a fundraiser. If you gotta travel, booking a place, buying clothing, uniforms, creating designs, and the list goes on and on and on. You as a dancer, you just come to practice and leave. That's honestly all we ask of you. Pretty easy, ain't it? Everything that your choreographers, directors do is there for a reason. A good team management doesn't just create something on the fly, though I guess sometimes they do that. I'm not saying every team is perfect, but trust the process and allow yourself to be taught by them and learn. Otherwise, if you're just gonna disagree with everything they say and do, make your own team. And number 5, the last thing that you should understand before joining a dance team is to get ready to embrace a challenge. Maybe you've been dancing for a long time, but you've never really performed, or you haven't been a part of a team. You've never gone to a big competition in a big city. It's gonna be different. You're gonna be performing in front of audiences of all shapes and sizes. Being part of a team is going to test your ability to take responsibility. It's going to test your ability to grow outside of your comfort zone. How will you practice when the pressure hits? In my experiences, that's one of the biggest practices you'll ever have in your life. A practice that's right before a big competition. The pressure is on. How will you react to last minute changes? Because it does happen a lot. And it's not just 1 or 2 teams that do it. All teams do it. How will you feel when you all of a sudden have to go from 1 or 2 days of practice a week to all of a sudden 5 or 6 days consecutively, long hours, and not just 5 to 6 days of practice, 5 to 6 days of practice, 4, 6, sometimes even 12 hours straight. It gets brutal, not just for the body, but for the mind as well. When the pressure hits, sometimes morale tanks, and it's going to suck. So get ready to embrace the challenge that comes ahead, because they will happen. So there you go. That's 5 things that you must understand before you join a dance team. If you have any other advice or tips or anything like that about joining a dance team, leave them down in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like this channel, and I will see you in the next episode. See ya.